Hey everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday, and I hope you're all having a good week and had a happy St. Patrick's Day and you didn't overdo it. Save that for the weekend. If you're new here, hi. This is Siren Records Monterey, located on the central coast of California. And every week we have a little discussion about some of the new releases and reissues that came out on vinyl for the week. So if you're into vinyl, we'd love to have you. And you just got to keep in mind, so much comes out every week that this is just a stack of some of it. Okay. So, a lot of times there's stragglers that come in that might have been out a couple of weeks ago or something. Sometimes when you order direct from labels, they don't necessarily get it to you on the day like a distribution house would. So sometimes things just trickle in a little bit more slowly. Anyway, we would love it if you would subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. Anyway, let's get on with it. I always start with like my picks of the week. Also, another thing I guess I should mention is that I go as fast as I can, but sometimes I know, people don't like watching videos that are, running into 30 minutes and more. But we post the list down below with the prices, and it's alphabetical. So you can feel free to skip ahead if you want to just cut through some of the stuff. Please feel free to do that. So, I don't know if everybody wants to sit and listen to this, but anyway, we do the best we can. Let's get on with it. Pick of the week this week is by the great band Midlake, and it's called "For the Sake of Bethel Woods." And they haven't had an album out in a while here. This is on the ATO label, and it's Loss, Hope, Isolation, and Communion. It's a renewal of purpose. These themes are what echoes throughout this fifth album from Midlake, and it's their first since 2013. So yeah, it's been a minute. They're a band from Denton, Texas, and I think I find that they're a little more popular in Europe than they tend to be in the United States, and I think that's a real shame. It's like great indie rock and beautiful vocal and great songwriting. So this is an album with this thematic and sonic reach that it's a record full of this immersive kind of warmth and mystery, then really, I wish I could liken them to someone else. But anyway, it's indie rock at its finest. It's very good. Now, there's 3 different ways that this comes. Every version has a download card in it, but the regular is just on crystal clear vinyl, and that can be seen like right here on the label. They decided to tell us. And so if you're shopping in the store, that's how you can differentiate this. And the retail indie exclusive is on Coke bottle colored clear vinyl, and that is also indicated right here. Okay, now if that weren't enough, there's a deluxe edition, and this is just a really, really cool thing. It's got this foiled cover, as you can see, and they're calling this one Blue Seafoam Wave Vinyl, which is kind of a teal color. Okay, I think it's probably very similar to this color on the sticker. 180 gram vinyl with a foil board and a signed poster included. So if you're a real kind of an ardent collector of any Midlake stuff, this is a nice one to have. And like I said, all 3 versions come with a download code, so get into them. They're great. They're just great. Anyway, my other pick of the week this week is from this band Fu Manchu. It's a look back, Dogtown and Z-Boys, and it's on at the Dojo label. Now, if you're not familiar with Fu Manchu, they're an American stoner rock band that were formed in Southern California in 1985, and they're kind of associated with the Palm Desert scene. But anyway, this is a look back, Dogtown and Z-Boys. It's a short documentary from the legendary artist photographer Glenn E. Friedman. So the film looks back on this essential period in the history of skateboarding, and Fu Manchu provided the entire soundtrack for the film with songs that were personally curated by this Glenn E. Friedman, the filmmaker. This official soundtrack recording was all 9 tracks feature in the film in the order that they appear. I believe this film came out in 2013, and it kind of spans over Fu Manchu, okay, like Free and Easy, Summer Girls from their 1994 debut album, No One Rides for Free, to Il Mostro Atomico, featuring Alex Lifeson of Rush, and from their most recent full-length album, Clone of the Universe. This is the only release from the band that features 2 instrumentals, Out to Sea from 2004's Start the Machine, and Hang Glider, which was originally released on the Japanese version of 2000's King of the Road. Limited edition of 200 units on this. It's a double, and the run is pressed on 1 half white, half blue disc, and then 1 yellow disc. And it features an etching from legendary skater Lance Mountain. Gatefold jacket features rare photos from Glenn E. Friedman, including a shot of the late Jay Adams across the inside. All the tracks were remastered specifically for this vinyl release. And gosh, it's really great stuff. Like I say, if you're not familiar with them and you like that kind of stoner rock, you're going to really love this album. So give it a whirl and see what you think. And so, all right, let's get into it and get through the pile of stuff here. All right, first up, this is Charlotte Adigeri and Bolis Pupul, called Tropical Dancer, and this is on the Dewey label. It's the debut studio record, which cements them as a duo under both of their names for the first time, and is co-written and co-produced by Soulwax. It's both a, you know, kind of kaleidoscopic electropop, and it captures their essence as musical collaborators. Conversations they've had over the past 2 years on tour, as well as their perspectives as Belgian people with an immigrant background. And the Charlotte is with Guadeloupean and French Martinique ancestry, and Bolis being of Chinese descent. So they've got like an interesting slant on everything. But anyway, this was a interesting kind of tropicale sort of made sense. It was a nice record to start the morning with. So that's here for you now. Now we've got Mose Allison, I Don't Worry About a Thing. This is on Modern Harmonic. It's a classic album, and it's known as the moment that Mose hit his first version of being a vocalist as well as a pianist. Okay, so this was kind of where he kind of got into that sort of thing. Anyway, his sharpest 2 pieces are Your Mind is on Vacation and the title track, I Don't Worry About a Thing. Very bluish versions of standards, instrumentals, and more. This is celebrating its 60th anniversary, and it's cut from all analog from the original mono Atlantic reels. And yeah, again, as that's on the Modern Harmonic label, kind of an interesting piece. I know it says Atlantic down here, but that was when it was originally released. All right, then we have on cassette, this is Bad Brains. I think we had talked about, this is on Org Music, and this is the cassette called Quickness, and that was their 4th full-length studio album, originally released by Caroline Records in '89. And this reissue marks the 5th release in the remaster campaign that's relaunching the Bad Brains label imprint. In coordination with the band, Org Music has overseen the restoration and remastering of the iconic Bad Brains recordings. So it's here right now on cassette. If you're a cassette person and you're ready for that for the car, do it. All right, Bauhaus, the Bella Session. This is on Leaving Records, and in January of '79, Bauhaus went into the studio in Wellingborough, England, and created their gothic rock masterpiece, Bela Lugosi's Dead. During that session, 4 other tracks were recorded, but went unreleased, and one of them was the ska reggae-inspired song Harry, named after Blondie's Debbie Harry, which would emerge later on the Kick in the Eye, Searching for Satori EP, and the CD version of Mask. And another track, Bite My Hip, would later be re-recorded as Lagartija Nick. Other unreleased tracks on the EP are extremely rare. Some Faces and the original version of Boys, which was re-recorded from the original 12 inches B-side. 40th anniversary official release here. Mastered from original tape, contains a 20 by 28 inch poster and is pressed on red and black vinyl. So that's a special one. All right. Then we have Elvin Bishop and Charlie Musselwhite, 100 Years of Blues. And this is a winner of the Blues Music Award for Album of the Year and Traditional Blues Album of the Year. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Elvin Bishop and Grammy-winning harmonica great Charlie Musselwhite joined forces for a fun and historic collaboration of Front Porch Blues. These two are joined by guitar and piano master Bob Welsh, who's also a member of Elvin's Big Fun Trio. For this, it's an infectious set of like warm, funky down-home blues that they've got going here, relaxed and spontaneous in nature, and it's got 9 originals and 3 covers as the two trade off on licks and vocals, and one of, this is a nice memorable recording. All right, next up we have 3 from the Warp Records label, and it's all from the band Broadcast. Now, first up we have this. It's BBC Maida Vale Sessions. It was recorded between 1996 and 2003. It assembles a portrait of their performances before they slimmed down to a duo for 2005's Tender Buttons. So 4 BBC sessions were recorded at the Maida Vale Studios, 15 tracks available on double LP here. First time some of the band's radio sessions for John Peel and other BBC DJs are being made available, including different versions of album tracks, a song they never re-recorded, Forget Every Time, and a rare Nico cover of 60/40, and it also includes a download card. All right, the next one is Microtronics Volumes 1 and 2. Its initially availability alone makes it of the group's most curious releases. It's released first as a tour-only 3-inch CD in 2003 and 2005 before being offered exclusively via mail order. So true to its name, it offers miniatures of Broadcast's experimental spirit, and the majority of the 21 tracks coming in under 2 minutes. So it's a short, sharp shock on that one. It's the first time on vinyl, and it comes with a download card. And then we also have Broadcast Mother is the Milky Way, and this again comes to us through Warp Records, originally released as a tour-only CD, limited to 750 copies, supporting their collaborative album with the Focus Group in 2009. This takes on a retrospective weight as their true final release before vocalist Trish Keenan's passing in 2011. The release contains some of Broadcast's warmest, most personal recordings as a group, and just kind of sketches of songs quickly give way to tripped out field recordings and woodwind interludes, and excited chatter underpinning Keenan's singing gives it a certain psychedelic Alice in Wonderland kind of feel. First time on vinyl, includes a download card. Next. Okay, this, we've talked about it before, but this is, people have been waiting for this indie exclusive colored version of Bo Burnham Inside on the Bo Burnham Imperial label, critically acclaimed soundtrack to his Netflix musical comedy. This one is double vinyl, featuring all the music from Inside. This is the indie exclusive. It's a limited edition, and it is on vintage glass vinyl, which seems to me, it looks kind of like frosted kind of glass. But that's here for you now, and like I said, a lot of people have been waiting for that for a long time. Now we've got Charlie XCX. This is called Crash, and it's on Atlantic. It's the 5th studio album from English singer-songwriter Charlie XCX, and it's her last album to be released under the current contract with Atlantic. It was preceded by 4 singles, one of which is New Shapes, featuring Christine and the Queens and Caroline Polachek, which, not a bad thing to have as people on your record. Okay, her prior work is kind of known for experimental hyper pop production. This features a more conventional dance pop sound, and the songs from the album include elements of pop music from the 80s and 90s, and she's kind of cited Janet Jackson, among others, as a musical influence for this album. So it's a limited edition red and black marbled vinyl on this one. Okay, this one is James Cotton, mighty long time, and this is on the New West label. So they're proud to present the reissue of this classic Antoine's Records blues title. This title's been remastered for vinyl. The LP is displayed in this one-of-a-kind packaging. It's got kind of a leathery texture. This is sort of a die cut here. And it's got an embossed logo and pressed onto 180-gram vinyl that's manufactured in the USA. The limited edition pressing now available on purple color vinyl for the first time. What you'll find on this is things like his cover of Howlin' Wolf's Moaning at Midnight, God, I can't talk, is remarkably eerie in its own right. And he romps through muddy waters, blow and blow, and sugar sweet with absolute joy. It's a pleasure to listen to this. All right, now we have Diplo, Don't Be Afraid. And this one is on the Higher Ground label, transatlantic collaboration of iconic superstar producer DJ Diplo. And he's teamed up with British production duo Jungle and Crosstown Rebels label founder Damian Lazarus to deliver this brand new single called Don't Be Afraid. The three artists crafted the track with overseas, like sending it back and forth to each other, I guess, to finish it out. But anyway, it's got all the things that they do best, like Diplo's Midas touch for globally appealing dance music, Damian Lazarus' ability to produce innovative house sonics, and Jungle's unmistakable flair for immediately insistent hooks and dynamic disco decadence. Together, it has inspired what is to be probably a summer anthem here in the making. All right, now we have Ebisoda, Bedroom Tapes EP. This is on the True Thoughts label, and this album was born from like these 10-hour jam sessions that they would have. They're from Brighton, England, and in their bedsits, and they had very technical parameters because they were students at universities. So the recording process was like very bare bones and multi-genre influence of internet music archives. So they're a quintet, Ebisoda. They've been steadily cultivating this unique sound among the exploding UK jazz scene. And despite this steep rise, the Brighton outfit have preserved as much as possible of their unique recording process. So even though there's a little money coming in, they like that sound that was originated from their original first sessions with just a 2-track recorder. And the band would lay down whole takes, one instrument at a time, then immediately transform the overdub digitally and reshaping the sound with some mischievous Adderall energy as the musical performances, keeping it like post-punk DIY ethic. And, it's very, that kind of raw sound is very close to their heart. This is on limited edition pink vinyl, and it has also a download card. Okay, then we have this, it's Gang of Youths, and it's Angel in Real Time. Now, this is on the Warner Brothers label, and they're an Australian alternative rock group from Sydney. And they say the album is about life and the legacy of their songwriter's father, Indigenous identity, death, grief, and God, and also the Angel Islington, which I'm thinking Angel Islington, I think I know Angel is like a tube station in Islington. So even though they're Australian, I think they might be London based and it has something to do with that. I'm not sure. So this front man, his name's Dave LaApepe. His father's absence and his influence permeates every talking point that the album offers. And it's at times solely focused on the precise personal experience of loss. But its influences range from American minimalism to contemporary classical, to drawing upon the legacy of Britain's alternative indie scenes, from drum and bass to the most transcendent moments in Britpop. It's equally rooted in LaPepe's Samoan heritage, with the majority of tracks featuring samples from Dave Fanshaw's recordings of indigenous music from the Polynesian Islands and the wider South Pacific. Angel in Real Time also features a contribution from a cast of talented Pacifica and Maori vocalists and instrumentalists. So there's a limited edition But they're white vinyl, but there's an alternative cover that's in pink, and that's the limited edition one. But both are on white vinyl, and yeah, this one here is the alternate cover. They normally look like this. Okay. Now we have, boy, this is a tongue twister. This is Grumul, and this is the Grumul story on the Decca label. Jeffrey Grumul Yunupingu, commonly known as Gurumul, and also referenced or referred to since his death as Dr. G. Yunupingu. He was an Aboriginal Australian musician of this Yolngu peoples, a multi-instrumentalist. Okay, he played drums, keyboards, guitar, like it was a right-hand strung guitar played left-handed, kind of an interesting thing. And he also didgeridoo, but it was clearly his beautiful singing voice that attracted these rave reviews. This is the first ever collection of Grumul's most enduring songs. The anthology contains new recordings, and it also, an orchestrally augmented version of the song that thrust him into the limelight is also included, and a rare duet version of Bayini featuring touching vocals by Australian singer Sarah Blasco. So it has a lot going on there. And I'm sure that I didn't say the tribe of his people's name correctly, or maybe even his last name, and I'm sorry. All right, next up, Colin Hay, Now and Evermore. This is on Compass Recordings. This guy, of course, the vocalist for the band Men at Work. He's got one of the most distinctive and recognizable voices on the planet. He faces down struggle, loss, and the existential questions about morality on this. His first collection of new material since 2016, that was Fierce Mercy. Anyway, written and recorded in his adopted hometown of Los Angeles at Compass Studios in Nashville, the collection is a defiantly joyful celebration of life, love, and one that insists on finding silver linings and reasons to smile through the challenges of recent times. Not to say that it deludes itself about reality of our modern world, but rather it consistently chooses to respond to pain with beauty and doubt with wonder, that kind of thing. It's like the juxtaposition of whatever the ailment is at the time. Okay, so it's fanciful melodies, lush orchestration. His performances are animated and full of life, draws on this vintage pop charm, pub rock muscle. There goes the motorcycle. We couldn't have a day without it, could we? Anyway, it's very profound. It's clever, compassionate, whimsical, and earnest. This is blue vinyl is the way that it comes, and I'm assuming it's this blue color here. And it does say limited edition blue vinyl, so it is giving it to us right there. But then there is an indie exclusive on this that is actually silver vinyl, and that one is also marked with a sticker for us for a change that tells us it's the indie exclusive limited edition silver vinyl. And both come with a download code, so you can pick that one either way. All right, Sunhouse, Forever on My Mind. This is on Easy Eye Sound, and it's a new Sunhouse album, believe it or not, and of previously unreleased recordings from the legendary father of the Delta Blues. Features for the first time on record the track Forever on My Mind. That's never been anywhere before. And the album comes from noted blues manager and historian Dick Waterman's archives, which were the first upon Sunhouse's 1964 rediscovery, restored to remarkable clarity by producer Dan Arbach from the Black Keys. And before Easy Eye Sound, these recordings represent the earliest recordings of House upon his return to the limelight after 20 years away. This is a limited edition, indie exclusive on black and white Fleck vinyl. I know some of you all aren't into the colored vinyl and maybe don't even like it. It's just, it's a thing now, you know, and we just have to roll with it. I know a lot of you are purists and just like your black vinyl as is without any frills, but everybody loves colored vinyl, so we got to have it all the time. All right, this is Invent Animate. Ever Changer, and this is on the Tragic Hero label. And this is a debut studio album from this American progressive metalcore. I'm talking too fast and I'm just making up words as I go along. But anyway, it's a progressive metalcore band, Invent Animate. The album was originally released in 2014, and they're a band that really deserve probably more credit than they received. This is a belter of a record, really, but undeniably it's a well executed and an enjoyable listen. But the criticism about these guys is that they simply haven't quite found their niche yet. And they're still stuck using the same old bag of tricks as every other metalcore band in the scene. And that's ultimately what causes them to fall short of their full potential. It's on clear vinyl. Check it out. Okay, now we've got Jason Isbell and the 400 unit, the Nashville Sound, and this is on 30 Tigers. Originally released in 2017, Nashville Sound is the 6th studio album by Jason Isbell and the 3rd credited with the 400 unit. It was produced by Dave Cobb, who also produced Isbell's previous 2 records. 2013's Southeastern and 2015's Something More Than Free. So part of the RSD Essential series, this comes on natural vinyl with black smoke in a gatefold sleeve with a lyric sheet. All right, this is Milt Jackson and the Thelonious Monk Quintet, and it is on Blue Note. Vibraphonist Milt Jackson was a frequent presence on the Blue Note sessions in the bebop era. And at the 1500 series, as it begun in 1956, the label issued the 12-inch compilation Milt Jackson and the Thelonious Monk Quintet, which expanded Jackson's 10-inch LP Wizard of the Vibes with the tracks from 1948 and 1951, led by Monk. The album cover was first designed by Reed Miles. This Blue Note Classic Vinyl Edition is all analog, mastered by Kevin Gray from the original master tapes, and pressed on 180-gram vinyl at Optimal. That information it's important to some people. You know, they like to know those things. All right, this is Johan Johansson, Drone Mass on Deutsche Grammophon. This was commissioned by Acme in 2015 in the celebration of its 10th anniversary and was premiered by the late Johan Johansson. Acme Roomful of Teeth in the Temple of Dendur in the Slacker wing of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So according to Johansson, Drone Mass is a 60-minute contemporary oratorio which fuses the sounds of string quartet, electronics, and vocals, and is inspired by texts from the Nag Hammadi library, sometimes referred to as the Coptic Gospel of the Egyptians. So it's also a mouthful. Very heady stuff, very artsy, and there you go. All right, this is what people might be waiting for. Juice WRLD, Fighting Demons. It's a double. It's on Interscope. And it's a 4th studio album and the 2nd posthumous album from Juice WRLD. It's now available on vinyl, CD, and cassette, which features Justin Bieber, Polo G, Trippie Redd, and more. He utilized rap, pop punk, and emo, just as that combination became the go-to formula for a new generation of rising SoundCloud stars. His songs were often juvenile, but always honest, and they were the nexus for his raw and unfiltered emotion. And there's a cassette there for you, too. All right, this is Lazy Queen, a Human Reaction EP, and it's on Icons Creating Evil Art. They're an Oslo-based By the Way of New York band that they blend harmonic and discordant elements together into this kind of playful and innovative and vibrant sound, which affixes both context and contrast to their lyrics that often explore life's more maladjusted corners. They have made their mark with a sound inspired by the rich traditions of Brooklyn DIY, coupled with ambitious and effervescent releases that show their unique ability to convey personal and relatable experiences. Okay, this is an indie exclusive and is on teal marbled vinyl, and it is limited to 500 copies. And it looks like this one here is 153 out of 500. So It's a good number. Alrighty, this is the Mars Volta Landscape Tantrums, unfinished original recordings of Deloused in the Comatorium. This is on Clouds Hill, and it was lost for 2 decades. The recent rediscovery of Landscape Tantrums and the first attempt at recording the music that would become the Mars Volta, Deloused in the Comatorium. It's revealed an important and missing chapter in the group's evolution. Self-recorded at Burbank's Mad Dog Studios with a head spinning 4 days. They just, quickly did it all. It captures in somewhat embryonic form the Landscape Tantrums deloused in through much of what would make it the Mars Volta's debut album such an electrifying and sublime experience. It was already in place here. Now, it's very fearlessly inventive and fusion of futurist rock elements and traditions from outside the rock orthodoxy. This sense of real virtuosity working in this very emotional kind of effect they have with this. Now, from a distance, it might have seemed that they were on a high when they walked in the studio to record what they expected to be their debut album. They were just hot off the heels of a show in Coachella that was very successful, but there was a lot of problems during this time. They lost their bassist Ava Gardner. There was inter-band fighting. There was rehab going on. Anyway, this is it's an essential text for the dedicated Mars Volta aficionado, and a breathtaking album in its own right. It's on glow-in-the-dark vinyl, and after a couple of decades, they've unearthed it, and it's ready now. All right. This is Matiel, Georgia Gothic, also on ATO Records. This is they're an Atlanta-based band fronted by Matiel Brown and produced by Jonah Swiley. So anyway, red leather clad and pitchfork wielding in a playful nod to Grant Wood's celebrated painting of 1930, Matiel bring us songs which ponder the American everyday of the 2020s, serving up an album tasting more like home than ever before. Georgia Gothic was shaped by time spent together on the road touring the first 2 records, and it's this newfound sense of intimacy that enabled the writing not as 2 separate musicians, but rather as one creative entity. So this is rock and roll with a retro vibe that harks back to 1960s garage and blues. So it's a limited edition on what they call hot red vinyl. I'm assuming that's like kind of a opaque red, but a bright cherry red. Okay, now we have Carl Perkins. This is the King of Rockabilly, King of Rockabilly, Sun Records' 70th anniversary. This is on Sun Records. Celebrate the golden era of Carl Perkins with the 70th anniversary collection of his remastered hits. The King of Rockabilly boasts an alternative version of Honey Don't, as well as an extended, never-before-released version of YOU, which features a spoken word bridge section by Carl Perkins. Unusual. The album also includes the classic hits Put Your Cat Clothes On, featuring Jerry Lee Lewis, Boppin' the Blues, and All Mama's Children, which were co-written with Johnny Cash. Completely remastered on 180-gram liner notes by Carl's son, Stan Perkins. And then we have Pinetop Perkins, Pinetop's Boogie Woogie. This is comes to us from New West. I'm sorry, I'm holding it wrong. There we go. Pinetop's Boogie Woogie is a song initially recorded in 1928 in Chicago. It was released in 1929 by Clarence Pinetop Smith on Vocalion Records. It's a piano rag that cemented Boogie Woogie as the name of an entire genre, and which eventually evolved into rock and roll. Along with Crazy About My Baby, Pinetop's Boogie Woogie is sometimes cited as the first rock and roll song, and being an early instance of a danceable 12-bar blues with a backbeat. So this comes to us on also in that same die cut as the, was it James Cotton? Anyway, this like leatherette sort of feel, the die cut, and this one is on, it's a limited edition on cherry red vinyl. All right. Now this is Bud Powell, Time Waits, the amazing Bud Powell Blue Note Classic Series on Blue Note. Fourth volume of the amazing Bud Powell series, recorded in 1958, found the brilliant bebop piano master in a particularly fine form on an ebullient set of this original tunes recording, including Buster Rides Again, Monopoly, and John's Abbey. Powell's inventive solo flights shine in a trio setting with Sam Jones on bass and Philly Joe Jones on drums. This Blue Note Classic vinyl edition is all analog, mastered by Kevin Gray from the original master tapes and pressed on 180-gram vinyl at Optimal. All right, now we have the Pretty Reckless Going to Hell on Kraft recordings. Of course, Pretty Reckless is actress Taylor Momsen's band, and the second studio album from them. The Pretty Reckless, originally released in 2014, the album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200, making this the band's first top 10 album on the chart. And it spawned 5 singles, including Heaven Knows and Messed Up World and Follow Me Down, all 3 of which reached number 1 on Billboard's mainstream rock songs chart. It's in a gatefold jacket, and it's on what they're calling Purgatory Purple vinyl. Okay, this is Reggie Snow, Baa Baa Black Sheep, Honeymoon One recordings. So he lives hip hop and psychedelic influences. He raps in Technicolor painting in broad strokes with hypnotic hooks, artfully crafted bars, and otherworldly production, igniting his career. So he supported Madonna on tour and broke all the rules with his 2017 project, The Moon and You. A year later, his full-length debut, Dear Annie, yielded genre-disruptive fan favorites such as Egyptian Lover, 23, The Rain, and more. So along the way, he's collaborated with everyone from Clairo to Kaytranada. After receiving acclaim from taste-making publications worldwide, this Ireland-born artist opens up this world on his second full-length offering, Baa Baa Black Sheep, boasting the single Cookie Chips featuring MF Doom. Ugh, that's a lot. All right, this is a reissue of Keith Richards' Main Offender on BMG Rights, newly remastered audio overseen by the original producer and expensive wino, Steve Jordan. Contains the original 10-track album, including the tracks Wicked As It Seems, Eileen, and Hate It When You Leave. This is a limited edition 180-gram red vinyl with a printed inner sleeve, or a 180-gram black vinyl. Now, here's one of those tricky ones. The way that you can figure this out is that, whoops, can I get that for you? Shoot. Okay, see there? It says red LP. That's the only way that you can tell the difference. And anyway, or you can always just, like, if you're in the store, have one of the guys or gal hit the gun, and it'll come up on their screen, and they can tell you which one it is. All right, so moving along here, we've got Santana, Blessings and Miracles. This is a double LP on BMG Rights Management. Okay, and this is 26th studio album by American rock band Santana. Can you believe that? 26 albums. Album was originally released in 2021 and produced by Santana himself, who prepared it over the course of 2 years and collaborated with other record makers and a host of brilliant writers and producers, including people like Chris Stapleton, Diane Warren, Rick Rubin, Greg Wattenberg, Peter Stenegard, and Narada Michael Walden. So yeah, it had like good reviews about it, that it's some of his best work in a long time. So if you're a Santana fan, you may enjoy that. Okay. Now this is Raymond Scott, The Jingle Workshop, Mid-Century Musical Miniatures, 1951 to 1965, and this is on Modern Harmonic. So this is back in print, now on clear vinyl. It's a guy that was just writing jingles. These are all jingles from Jingle Perfection. In addition to being a pioneer of early electronic music, Raymond Scott generated hymns to Hunger, Odes to Pudding and Pilsner, and crafted carols for countless other products, elevating the form of advertisement to art. And so, like they'd saying, like if Zappa had written music for commercials, it's not hard to think his approach would have been similar. Pressed on clear vinyl at Third Man Pressing, and contains varied styles in both instrumentation and vocalization, plus previously unavailable electronic works. And the little tagline that they put with it says, products may contain soy, wheat, dairy, or mel-torme. So anyway, that's kind of fun. Just to, you know, the how jingles used to come about and be. So I don't know, it's interesting. All right, now we have Seagirls, Homesick. This is on the Island label. Following the success of their UK top 3 debut album 2020's in 2020, Seagirls released their new album here called Homesick. The album includes 13 tracks with 2 deluxe bonus tracks. Deeply personal record, singer Harry Chamomile returned to his childhood home in Lincolnshire at the wake of the pandemic, finding himself reflecting on events from his past. This is on limited edition yellow vinyl, okay? Yeah. All right, now this is some great stuff. This is Sonic Youth, In, Out, In, and it's on the 3 Lobed Recordings label. Now this is an album formatted collection of unheard sonic rarities from the legendary band's 2000 to 2010 era, most for the first time on any physical format. So essential for the band's hardcore fans and for enthusiasts of instrumental rock. Comes on black or maroon vinyl. Let me see, how do we tell? I would assume this one's the maroon and this one is black, but I'm just trying to see if they say it on here anywhere. Yeah. Okay, so this is the black vinyl with the green obi, and this one is the maroon vinyl, and it will tell you here that it's maroon cover. Okay, and there's cassette too. All right. Getting there, guys, getting there. Okay, this is Twisted, Unlikely Prescription, double LP on Magic Ninja. All right. Twisted are no strangers to mixing rap and rock, and after an appearance on the final Warped Tour in 2018, they hit the ground running with ideas to release a more rock-centered album. Unlikely Prescription is the result of those thoughts and plans. So working with artists like Ice Nine Kills, From Ashes to New, and Danny Filth, the duo has compiled an album sure to pique an interest of longtime Twisted fans as well as a new generation of rock fans. And this is limited edition black and light blue marble, and it's a double. All right, this is U.S. Velvet, self-titled on Stone's Throw Records. So U.S. Velvet is the collaboration of Zahara Jaime and Colin Davis. It's inspired by the city of Los Angeles's inclusive love for goth and new wave music. U.S. Velvet is a blistering post-punk mission statement built for a modern era, birthed from the anxieties of late-stage capitalism. U.S. Velvet is an expression of the nihilism, desensitization, and feelings of impending climate doom caused by living in a post-industrialized world. Now that, I don't know, that sounds a little arty and, you know. It's post-punk, it's fun, and it's, you know, I'm sure these themes are underlying with underneath, but I don't know, that blurb sounded just a little bit too much. There's a dub by Packy Man on here, too, which, so, you know, it's just not as doomy as they make it sound in the blurb, right? All right, this is various artists. It's the Cruella soundtrack on Walt Disney Records. And this, you can enhance your Wicked side here, featuring a Wicked mix of songs, including Feeling Good, performed by Nina Simone, Stone Cold Crazy, performed by Queen, Call Me Cruella, performed by Florence and the Machine, and more. It's a collectible 2LP, and it's pressed on black and white swirl vinyl. Okay, this is also various artists, and this is the Women of Def Jam. And this is it's on Def Jam, duh. Take a journey through time with the women of Def Jam. This unique and groundbreaking recording collection features the female artists that dominated the hip hop and R&B scene from the 90s to the present day. And this project celebrates timeless classics that have reshaped the culture, featuring hits from Nikki D, Foxy Brown, Ashante, Chrysalette Michelle, Tayana Taylor, Alicia Cara, Rhapsody, Danny Lee, 070 Shake, Cash Page, Jaheen Akio, and more. So it's all collected here. I think there's 3 discs in here. Yeah, there's 3 discs in here. So 6 sides of the ladies of Def Jam. Pretty awesome. All right, Young Fathers, Dead. This is on Anticon. It's a reissue. This was the debut solo album from Scottish indie group Young Fathers. It was originally released in 2014. The album was the winner of the 2014 Mercury Prize. They make kind of left field, forward-thinking hip-hop that has nothing to do with artiness and everything to do with brilliance, all with grain silo production and genuine pop hooks. Early adopters have included Johnny Marr and Diplo, Ghost Poet, and Alt J. The group formed after meeting at an under-16s hip-hop night at the infamous Bongo Club in Edinburgh when they were all in their teens. This one also includes a download code and, yeah, I believe it's just straight-up black vinyl. All right. Then we have Frank Zappa and the Mothers live at the Fillmore East, June of 1971. It's the 50th anniversary, and this is also coming to you on 3 LPs. Iconic 1971 release. It gets expanded for its 50th anniversary, featuring the original single LP, newly remastered with 2 additional vinyl discs of period perfect vintage mixes from the vault. This includes the John Lennon Yoko Ono Encore and the original Billy the Mountain. Liner notes by Vaultmeister Joe Travers. This 3 LP set is pressed on 180 gram vinyl by Optimal and cut by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grundman Mastering. All right, and then also there is Frank Zappa and the Mothers live at the Rainbow Theater. Also 3 LPs of this one on Zappa Records as well. This is the historic and infamous final show of the Flo and Eddie lineup with the Mothers in its entirety. All right, the show was a success until Frank Zappa was shockingly pushed off the stage by a concert attendee, resulting in grave injuries for Frank Zappa and causing the cancellation of the tour and ultimately the band. Can you imagine being the person responsible for that? What a dick. Featuring a brand new 2021 mix and liner notes by Eddie Kramer. This 3 LP set is pressed on 180 gram vinyl by Optimal with mastering by Bernie Grundman. Okay, you guys, we made it. That is just a small selection of what came out this week. There's tons of stuff. I hope that you found something in there that was piqued your interest or, thought it made you think you might want to try something new, or happy to receive something reissued that you already loved and now can get on vinyl. So have a great weekend. I will see you next time, and thanks for joining me, and I'll see you